paradigm is in control of you. Don't think it's not. It is. It is in control of you. It's a demon inside of you. And it talks to you. And it tells you, don't do that. You crazy. Go ahead, do it. Don't do it. It's in control. And you know something? 97% of the time, the damn thing wins. It does. And I don't care how sophisticated you are. I don't care how smart you are. I don't care how religious you are. I don't care about any of those things. Your paradigm is in control. That's been programmed right into the cells in your being. Stop and think of how you got here. Little particle of energy from mom, little particle of energy from dad comes swimming along. They were in resonance, and that is the nucleus of you. And then for 280 days, an attractive force went to work. And all of mom's DNA and all dad's DNA, where'd their DNA come from? Well, their mother and their dad. And where did they go from their mothers and their dads? God knows how far back this goes. You're the product of other people. You're the confluence of thinking that goes back for God knows how far. That's who you are. That's why you look like you do. That's why you've got the hair you've got. That's why you're the height you are, the weight you are. That's why your foot is wide or narrow. This is all programmed into us. Then 280 days later, we make our debut on the planet. And we become programmed by the people we're surrounded by. This is real, and you're not going to get it in school because the teachers don't know it. Look, this is really a black or white deal. It doesn't matter how hard you work. It doesn't matter how many hours you put in. If the paradigm doesn't change, ultimately results remain the same from one year to the next. That's why people go right through their life living much the same as their parents and their grandparents and their great-grandparents. Nothing changes. Just as prejudiced, bigoted, and ignorant from one generation to the next. You must alter the paradigm if you desire to improve your results. Both companies and individuals operate with paradigms. Countries operate with paradigms. Families have paradigms. To be able to shape your future, though, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm. You got to be willing and you got to be able.
Hi folks, very good evening. Welcome back to day number 2, and I hope you've all had the most wonderful of Tuesdays. And tonight, I'm using that word. It is choose day. Today you get to choose on a number of things. We're going to be introducing you to a magnificent concept that changed my life and has changed many, many people's lives. So tonight is going to be an absolute masterclass. So I hope you're all good. Give me some thoughts in the chat. Let me know if you're here. Julie's here. Good evening from Middlesbrough again. Nikki's back again. Good evening, Nikki from across in Fife, just across the water. I hope we're all doing really, really well. So please do engage as we go through tonight. So before we get started, there's just one little thing I want to really get you to focus on tonight. We heard Bob there asking the question of, like, who are you? And when you ask that question, it can be so profound. Who are you? And I want you to really understand that you may have had time or not, but the workbook that we have prepared for you, take it a bit of time this week, print it off or have it with you electronically, because what is in here is, there's so much gold in here. And we can speak confidently about the material in here because the majority of it's not our material. We've been very fortunate people who have had brilliant coaches and mentors and guides, including Bob. Bob was my guide for many, many years. And although he's no longer here, he's still my guide. So I want to just make reference to day 1. Yeah, there's a little introduction between me and Nikki, and it's talking about, a number of things. It's talking about this week and what each of the evening's themes are going to be. Is getting to know the team as well, because Elizabeth is here supporting us. Vicky will be here supporting us at some point as well. And it's getting you to kind of sign and make a declaration to yourself that you're going for this. So as we go through this, day one is talking about A-type goals, B-type goals, C-type goals. So please, I know last night we were asking you to really form that, but if you haven't done it, there's still plenty of time. And then the goal card as well. We'll come back to the homework for last night. And if you've not done it, and well done for those who have done it, I'm going to congratulate you in a few minutes' time. But there's still time for you to do this. This is your starting point. This is your starting point to get this done. And after the page of the goal card, it's asking you to ask yourself the question, why 7 levels deep? Now, take time to do this, because it says here the final answer comes as your real why. When you go 7 levels deep, or you might go even lower than that, and that might be the case with what happens. So make sure that your goal is written correctly. The session of this afternoon was magnificent. People getting to ask about the goals. So please do take the time each evening and the day after, the summary as well. It's guiding us through everything here. Now, I'm taking no credit for this. Nikki spent hours, blood, sweat and tears getting this done. So tonight we're going to make reference to this again, because we are going to be on for a little bit longer. So don't worry if you're watching back on replay, or you need to watch back on replay, because tonight is such a powerful lesson. So that's what we're doing tonight. And I think my lovely business partner is here with us as well. So why don't we bring her on to say hello?
Oh, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you very well. Yes. Hello. Good evening.
Hello, how are you doing?
Good. Thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, good. Sorry, I literally have like run in the door, so I'm just I'm not my usual composed and made up self, but I am here, and that's the main thing. So
No worries.
delighted to be here, and I'm really sorry I missed last night. And I will catch up with Jamie and I caught up briefly this morning. Family emergency, everything is fine, but it's been a bit of a tough couple of days. So yeah, but really delighted to be here. I was really focusing on just getting here tonight. That was my big goal and my big aim. So delighted that I am.
Good. Well, you're here. So let me speak for a few minutes then. And
Yes.
if you want to guide us through a little
I'll
activation.
catch up and I'll find my way in.
Yes, find your way in. So I might bring you in to do the little activation after I've done the introduction. That's okay. So
Wonderful.
So I was just saying to everybody tonight, get through the workbook, have it at hand, because we're going to guide you through some of the material that's in here this evening. And that's it. So well done for those of you who were here last night. I loved the engagement, Nikki, last night. The engagement was through the roof. Everybody answering questions, being brave in the chat. Julie who's here, and Lily's here. Well done, Lily, and Kirsten and Nikki. And there was also other people as well. It was absolutely magnificent. Really, really high levels of engagement. So I'd encourage us all again to do that this evening, because it's going to be so profound, some of the material we're touching on. But don't worry if sometimes this material catches you by surprise and you're thinking, I don't understand this. That's perfectly okay. Because last night was really asking you to disrupt your normal thinking. And we spent a lot of time last night really considering what we want. We judged ourselves on being clear on what we want. We scored ourselves. But what we were also saying was that if we've not got that clarity yet, that's perfectly okay. We've got time to really refine that. And that's what the whole homework exercise is to do. So tonight, we're going to be talking more about that. Mm-hmm. I want to kick off, though, by reminding us about one of the stats we talked about last night. We said last night that we would like to be part of the 3% club. Who here still wants to be part of the 3% club? The 3% club is all about those who don't just write their goals down, but they act on them. And if only 3% of people across the world have got a clear idea of where they're going, 3%, that's really, if you really think, that's pretty sad. And that's out of hundreds of billions of people across the world, only 3%. And you can do the maths on that. And you've got to ask yourself the question, every single day. Now we go through these exercises and you get clarity in terms of what you want. Are you going to be in that 3% club? Because you've established last night, and many of you have been very brave in putting the homework into the group, that you've now got a goal. You said last night, many of you were saying between 5, even up to 8 or 9, you were very clear on what you wanted. And that's just incredibly, incredibly valuable, and a great, that's the starting point. And having that desire for going after everything you want. But it's not just the starting point, it's also about making a decision. And this is where it really starts. This is where we've got to really understand the power of making decision. Because if we don't know how to make decisions, then we won't know where we're going to go. And I know from the work that I've done on myself that without any decision, I just go around in circles. Go round and I go round and I go round and I go round and I go round. The 3% identity we're talking about is that only 3% of people get their goals because they decide. Success isn't about talent, it's about decision. Most people never truly decide. They wish, they hope, they try, they use the word, I'll endeavour to get that. That's the identity shift. So I want you in the chat right now. I want you all, if you're ready to, comment, I am the 3%. I am the 3%. Who's brave enough here to say, I am the 3%?
Can I come in with a story?
Of course you can.
So I wanted to just share with you a decision that I made. I'm actually a little bit lost with my dates, but I think it was probably 2 years ago. Actually, it probably was, Jamie. So for those of you that I don't know, because I'm not really sure who's on the call. I know Lily, I'm so delighted you're here. So you and I have met, but I think there's others here that I haven't yet met. So I will gently introduce myself as the days go on. But when I first came into this particular material, I was a coach, and Jamie was my coach. So I was a client of his, studying this material that we're sharing with you. And I decided that my goal at the time, I was working full time in my job that I'd been in for more than 20 years. And because my mindset was very much around working and salary and pension and holidays, thinking about becoming a businesswoman, having my own business was alien to me. It was just a concept that was just wasn't in my thought process at all. But it became my goal because I knew that it was what I wanted, even though it was so far removed from who I thought I was. And I set my goal in an in-person event that Jamie ran. And I declared it to the room that I was going to leave my job. And I can't remember the month, Jamie. I think it was probably January. And I wanted to leave my job at the end of June that year. And I didn't make the goal. I didn't achieve the goal. And so my mind went to, well, do you know, Nikki, that was never going to happen anyway, because, you know, who are you? You know, you're not this entrepreneur, you're not a business owner, and all the things that would really was talking me out of, like about not making the goal about me, if that makes sense. And Jamie had said to me, the goal never changes, even if the timeline does. And I thought, okay, I like that. I'm going to accept that. I decided to believe that the goal could still be the goal. That just because I didn't make it happen in the timeline that I thought I should make it happen, that the goal wasn't, you know, something that I could achieve. And so my journey then became, well, why didn't it happen? Like, why didn't I meet the goal? What was the lesson that I still needed to learn? And that was the kind of mindset that I decided to apply to the situation that I found myself in. What's my learning? And it took me a long time to learn what I needed to learn. And what came up for me was a story that I had told myself. So when I the first part of my career was international. I worked for Marriott Hotels International, travelled a lot, had a fantastic life. And when I came home, someone very dear to me had said, now you can get a proper job. And so the proper job was the story that I realised I was really holding on to with dear life. And so in the mind, because the mind was thinking, well, yes, I could go and be an entrepreneur. Of course I can. I trust in this material. I let go of the how, and I just put it to the universe, and I plant the seeds, and it will all happen. And you know, there's a lot of that that is true, but you have to know how it lands in the body as well. And so it wasn't believable in my body, because in my body I believed a different story, which was, this is a proper job. And once I was able, through the internal work that I did, to bring that into my awareness, I was then able to challenge that belief that I held. And so the reason that I think that came up for me, and I always choose to believe that what comes up is meant to come up in these situations, is what you said, Jamie, about it doesn't matter where you are now in your thinking. It's just a sense, doesn't it, that even if it's so out there, like that was so out there for me, right? I'm going to have my own business. It's like, what, who are you? Just go with it. Just go with whatever it is that comes. Just trust it, and then just sit with it, because you just don't know what will happen. It took me 1 full year extra to meet that goal. And instead of ending my career in June 2024, I did it in June 2025. Was it just last year?
Just last year.
Yeah, it was just last year.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's the decision. You know, just trust your intuition, and the goal is your goal. It will come for you, and it might not feel like it's the real goal, but it is. And it might be a little bit more in the future before you really realise that it is. And so a lot of this really is about a leap of faith and trusting your own self, that this is your journey.
It is. And I've got a very similar story to that as well. And what I loved about the homework last night, people put into the Facebook group, that we're currently refining them. You know, there's a lot of content in there, and we're all agreeing that we can really make that more succinct. Yeah. And one thing I would do, every single one of you need to put a date on this, right? You need to put a date on this to create urgency, and your subconscious mind starts to look for ideas, resources, people, environments that are conducive for you to move towards what you really want to do. And what Nikki's talking about there, and what we're all talking about here, there's a difference between wrong goals versus true goals. Now, we don't know the goals are wrong until we actually are around material like this, until we start questioning our beliefs. Because, like you said there, Nikki, and myself, you know, most people are chasing goals that aren't even theirs.
Well, that was my 22-year career in a job that was the proper job. It was never my dream, my goal for me, ever.
Yeah, and so when we're talking about the 3%, within that, you know, even those in the 97%, they might say, I've got goals, but a lot of these goals are society-driven goals. Yeah. Job titles, salary, expectations, should goals versus soul goals. What does that mean? It means something that completely aligns with who you are. And that's where, if you look at misalignment in the workplace or misalignment in the world, you see that because it shows up as burnout. It shows up as frustration. It shows up as people feeling unfulfilled and this emptiness, that they think there's got to be something more to life than that. And that was my role. You know, I lived up to expectations in professional football for 28 years, thinking that's what I should do. University, working a job. But no, I became a leader very, very young. And listen, I've got absolutely no regrets in every single part of my journey to where I'm right now, right here. But I understand why I was so unfulfilled at times, because I was living up to other people's expectations, to the point saying, I'm not doing this anymore. It's now up for me to do what I truly want to do, which was scary. Is leaving that salary, is leaving that protection, is leaving the safe zone to really go to that next level. And listen, that's where you've got unknown potential and talents and ability deep inside. And once we've got that clarity, and that's what we're talking about last night, once you've got that clarity, it creates energy to do the thing. We talked about doing the thing last night. What misalignment creates is misery. How many people do you see that are very intelligent, have got all the qualifications in the world, yet they're absolutely miserable in what they choose to do? Because that misalignment, they're not entirely sure what that is. And that's why we're encouraging with these worksheets, this C-type goals. And we talked about Napoleon Hill last night, the desire, the starting point. The starting point for all achievement is desire. And if it doesn't excite you, you won't pursue it. So we need to get really emotionally involved with what we're going to do here. And here's what we think. I want you all to be honest in the chat. Who here is excited for their goal? Yes or no? Who's excited for their goal? Because safe goals don't activate you. But real goals, true goals, they create excitement. They create the emotion, the desire, which is the fuel to do the thing even when you don't want to do it, but you're driven forward to get it done. But this desire must be nurtured daily, every single day. But most people don't spend enough time here. And this is where we've got to really tap into our imagination. We've got to use visualization. We talked about Imagineering last night. We talked about visualization last night. Holding that image until it becomes real internally. Your subconscious mind, what we're going to talk about tonight, doesn't know the difference between what is real and what's imagined. So we've got to live the goal mentally first. We emotionally rehearse it. We see it. We feel it. We become it. The more we do this every single day. But the mind, what we're going to be talking about tonight, must experience this before reality even reflects it. Because we talked about manifestation last night as well, and there's that gestation period. The 3D world needs to catch up with the ideas we've got born in the conscious mind. And we're going to talk about that tonight. But that's where this internal battle comes from, this duality. I want this, but. That's that instinct versus that conditioned thinking. We're going to be talking about conditioned thinking tonight. I'm going to grab maybe a stick person across here. We're going to come up to in a second. But that subconscious desire versus the safe thinking mind, this is what we're talking about tonight, this tug of war, this ambivalence. Should I, shouldn't I? What will I do? What should I do? What do you think? What do you think? The but voice in our head, it kills dreams instantly. And Bob would always say to us, you are your biggest problem and your biggest solution. And that's where 100% responsibility comes from, really getting that picture in your mind. So good, you're all excited. Love it, Nikki and Kirsten and Julie. And I know you're terrified, Lily, but you know you're here for more. Back to where you were and beyond. And Lily's asking, how do you let go of previous fears and failures and find excitement for your goal? Well, we're going to really go deep in that. But yeah, Nikki, what do you think before we do the activation?
Well, the activation that we're going to do is certainly where we do that. But the imagination is the key. The imagination is a superpower. And when everything that we give attention to, everything we think about creates neural pathways in the mind. And what we think about more creates the neural pathway. It just means we relive that neural pathway over and over again until it gets so deeply embedded. And it becomes the way we think about without really thinking. And so what we get to do with our imagination is we get to think about the life that we want to think of instead. So this is where conscious choice comes in, because this will never happen by accident. You have to choose to create time and space in your schedule every day. Now, my morning routine, this is something that we teach a lot in our academy about the power of a morning routine, where you really spend time nurturing your desires. And you nurture your desires by simply creating quiet space to think about them. And so the mini activation that we're going to do at the moment, we're going to install that. We're going to think about what that life looks like and feels like for you as the goal achieved. And then that is where you come back to in your imagination and your mind's eye over and over and over again. And from an NLP perspective, what that does is it creates what we call loss bias. So our mind is always looking for something that it thinks we've lost. So when we spend time thinking about something that we want over and over, the subconscious doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. It just assumes it to be true. And because of the feeling that it creates in the body, it then starts to take us subconsciously on the pathway to find it because it thinks it's happened. Most people stay stuck in their imagination of what's gone wrong in the past. And because they're stuck in what's gone wrong in the past, in the body, it doesn't feel safe for something to be different. And when I say safe, I mean familiar. Because the subconscious mind likes what is familiar. And so when we are stuck in the past, with the thinking in the past, the alignment, the nervous system is saying, but that's what happened and we don't go back there. We don't go back there. We're not going back there because that's what happened. And it just keeps us stuck and it keeps us safe through the chemical reactions that creates from our thinking and feeling loop. So when we start to practice in a safe environment in our own home, and Jamie and I, we talk about it a lot, particularly before we meet our clients, sometimes particularly in the dark. It's not so much now because the sun's rising that a little bit earlier, but just sitting for me when it's dark, when the stars are still out, and just imagining my life with my goal fulfilled. So it's just little and often throughout the day. You can't live there permanently because life happens. But when you create these spaces in your day to just go to that place, go to that place, go to that place, over time, your nervous system starts to feel safe because it starts to feel familiar because it's been there before, it's been there before. So we're going to install it in the activation that we're about to do. And then what you get to do is you get to practice that. You get to just go back to that place every single day, little and often. Okay, this is how it feels, so that your body feels safe with change. Your body feels safe and familiar with the future rather than safe and familiar in the past where it's keeping you stuck. The subconscious mind is not interested in what makes you happy. It wants to keep you doing the same. So what we want to do through the imagination is create familiarity through thinking over and over again about the future differently to what's keeping us stuck in the past. Sorry, when you said, tell me, I wasn't sure if you really meant tell me, like as in depth as that, but that's
No,
the real
that's fine.
answer. And it sounds so simple to speak, but what we know, particularly with psychology, with neuroscience, with behaviour change, there's nothing simple about it. That what I've just described sounds simple, but it's not easy. But that's the practice that we get to practice, and most people will never do it.
And Lurley's so appreciative in the comments saying thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you, Lily, because I do not have YouTube on.
No.
But
But
thank you.
at the same
Yes.
time, we are going to talk about that a wee bit tonight, but tomorrow night in particular, to go beyond these previous fears, we can find excitement. Through this process, we can find excitement. But tomorrow night, we're going to go a level deeper, because beyond excitement is when we develop faith. And faith is just knowing it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And that belief system then guides you. And if your desires are stronger than the fear, then the subconscious takes over. And you do it without even thinking.
That was the high level.
Yes.
The high level explanation, just so that it can make sense. But the teaching and the practice, that's the work.
Every day. Developing faith, persistence. Yeah. So we'll do a little activation then for you to really see how do we instill this.
Let's do this as an installation. So my invitation then to you all is to create a space for yourself where you're quiet, where you won't be disturbed. If you need to close the door, please do that just now. And if you feel comfortable enough to do so, now obviously I cannot see you, nobody can see you, then do close down your eyes. And if closing down your eyes does not feel comfortable for you, just lower them, lower your gaze down to the ground. And I'm going to invite you to give your thinking mind a break. What I hear in those questions, and it's so natural, is the how, and to want to know. And this work isn't about intellectualizing this stuff. This is about embodying and feeling it every single day so that it becomes your new normal over a period of time. But we start just by closing our eyes down, and we start by slowing down our breathing. And as we slow down our breathing, we take deep breaths and bring that attention into the body. So big deep breath in and feel that fresh oxygen coming into your body and through your bloodstream and just flow through your body and soften it. And then breathe out and soften even more deeply. And take another 2 or 3 big breaths like that. And as you breathe in, feel the breath go even deeper into the body, maybe into your shoulders, your arms, your fingers, maybe down your torso. And then let that breathe out as you soften even more. And then another big breath in and feel all the way down to your hips. Feel supported in the chair. Feel your legs soften. And feel your feet grounded, supported by Mother Earth. And one final deep breath in. And notice now how softer it feels. How quieter it feels. And in your mind's eye, I invite you to see in the direction that is your future. A gold light, like a line, all the way out into your future. And whatever that looks like and feels like for you is perfect. And I invite you now to gently float above that line and look towards the horizon to 6 months from now. And float gently, softly, and see yourself now, this version of you in 6 months. And float gently beside them. And notice what you see here because of that decision that you had made 6 months ago. What do you see here, your life as it is now? What is this perfect average day? How does your day start? Who are you with? Where are you? What do you see? What do you hear? How does it feel? And I invite you now to step in to this version of you. See what they see. Hear what they hear. Feel what they feel. What is the evidence around you from this decision that you had made 6 months ago? What is here that you never imagined? what's happening tomorrow because of these decisions that you made. How is your day, this perfect day, in this new life, this future life? Take a deep breath in, feeling deep gratitude that you made this decision, that you made this step, made it happen. Notice how proud you are of yourself that you did this, because you are the person who decides, and you are the person who follows through. Cultivated self-trust, that you are becoming the person that you say you are becoming. Living in congruence, head, heart, body aligned. Notice how this feels in the body. Notice where you feel this specifically in the body. Place a hand there. Might be on your chest, tummy, wherever. Place a hand and take a deep breath in the knowing that you trust yourself so deeply as you move through this wonderful journey of life. And feel that. And let your body recognize how this feels, how safe it feels, how familiar it feels. This is you now leading this life that you've created from this challenge that you attended 6 months ago when you met Nikki and Jamie for the first time or the second time. How happy that you showed up every day, even when you were telling yourself you were too tired or had other things to do. No, you just kept coming. And really hold that. And float gently above where you are now. And look out, that golden light flickering off into the distance, into the horizon. And gently let that version of you, that future version of you, drop into that space 6 months from now. And gently float back to now. Noticing as you come, events that have happened because of the decision that you made that led yourself there 3 months from now. And notice other events that have happened 2 months from now, 1 month from now. These great things that have taken you to your goal. All these wonderful things happening, things you could never have imagined. All that way back to your present day, to here, to this chair, to this room. And take a final deep breath in as you sit in gratitude, knowing that it's done. And when you feel ready, bring your attention back into our room, into the space. Open your eyes. Roll your shoulders if you have to. Take a look outside. It's beautiful, beautiful daylight. I love it this time of year when it's 7:45 at night and it's so much light. And a reminder that, for me now more than ever, life is fragile, life is precious. We have no idea how many years we have, how many weeks we have. But how do you want to spend it? How do you want to spend your life? I was out with my husband at the weekend. We were up north in Aviemore and we'd gone for a couple of lovely dog walks in the morning while the boys were still sleeping. I just had 2 of my children with me and we went for coffee. A lovely old post house converted into a cafe, and it's really kind of old concrete buildings, but all of its design is quite natural, but it has post box red blinds, the big roller blinds, and to really let the light out. We sit outside with the dogs and you're over the river. I mean, it's just stunning. And we were having fresh croissants. We were waiting for them to come out the oven. We were having coffee. And he said, wouldn't it be amazing when I retire to live like this? And I looked at him and I said, you don't have to wait to retire to live like this. You're doing it now. We're doing it now. How amazing it would be to actually give yourself permission to see the great things in your life as they are now. To think more beneficially about your life and how you're experiencing life now. And to create the life every day, the perfect average day. That is my perfect average day. My mornings with Jamie, under the stars, not under the stars just now, but my first coffee on my own in my garden, or meeting Jamie and we studied together, meeting our clients, delivering this material, helping people move and grow themselves and creating their lives and their businesses and experiencing. Even though life is hard, even though life throws obstacles and barriers, you can still really hold yourself so powerfully. You can still create, grow, be brave, be courageous. That's what life is. That's what living is. It's doing the things, even when it's hard and even when it's scary. It's not about sitting, waiting for your life, for retirement, or for something else. It's about really choosing every day. Life gets to be perfect average day. And I get to bring that feeling to my day every day as I journey towards my goal. And once you've got your first goal, you get to create another one. And it's magical. And that's how we use our mind as a superpower, the way it's meant to be used. But we've never been taught that way, not yet. But that's what we do. We teach you how to use your brilliant mind to create your brilliant life. You don't have to wait for anything. You get to do it all now. Push your boundaries. Believe in yourself. Trust that what you need will come. It will come. You can't see it yet because you haven't made the decision. But when you make the decision, like I made the decision, I'm going to be a businesswoman. I'm going to have my own business. I'm going to go to yoga every day because I want to go. I'm going to take my son, Freddie's asked me to take him shopping tomorrow. He's been with his girlfriend for a year, bless him. And yes, I can, because I've created the flexibility to say yes to the things that are important to me. The space for the croissants, the coffee, the children, the yoga, the photography, the business, the growth, the clients. It's all there. You don't have to wait for anything. We are our biggest problem, which is how we use our mind. And when you understand how to use your mind, then you realise that we are our biggest solution. The duality of living. So 3%. Yeah, I'm up for that. Definitely. There is no other way to live now that I understand how it all works.
Wow. Give me some comments in the chat, please, of how you just found that experience. Sum it up. Be honest. I could have
If
sat
you can.
and listened to that all night because it gets us to really. Tonight's theme is discovering the power of the mind. And we've titled it this for a reason, because we want you to understand we can come up with the perfect goal, we can come up with the perfect vision, we can really have clarity, but what's going to take us forward is how we use our marvellous mind to gain what we want. And there are so many levels to it that you've got no understanding. And we're going to touch on some of that tonight. Going to get you to really reflect on after last night and the experience we've got there with Nikki. And I'm sure all these emotions and Nikki saying, wow, yeah, wow, Nikki. And could you imagine feeling the way you're feeling right now for the rest of your life? What would happen to your thinking? What would happen to the way you feel? What would the dominant feelings be? What would your actions be like? And this is what we teach every single day. This is our life. This is our purpose. We are living our C-type goals now. And the amount of C-type goals, we were just discussing that. We were in Arizona last month. We were just feet in the pool, like margarita. How many C-type goals? Actually, I've lost count. How many C-type goals we've achieved?
Even this year, Arizona was a C-type goal. We didn't really see how, but we just knew that we'd made that decision. We're going, and that was the vision because we'd been there last year. And I said to Jamie, that pool, the hot tub in the morning. I'm a swimmer and Jamie's a swimmer too. So we were meeting in the morning and we were both doing our laps. And then one of us would go and get coffee, probably Jamie, because I would be later than him and swim a wee bit longer because I'm slower. But and then we would have coffee in that hot tub. And then after our training, and it was long this year, wasn't it? It was like 8 o'clock to 6 o'clock. That margarita was like the focus. And just even thinking about it now, you know, is it never, I never remember which one it is. I always get these two confused with this quote, particularly Neville Goddard, that says feeling is the secret, or is it Earl Nightingale?
Yes.
I probably do, and both say it, but that stayed with me, that one quote, feeling is the secret, because when you really allow yourself to go into your imagination and feel how it feels, to be there, to imagine what it's going to be like, there's no other feeling like it. And that's the energetic. As humans, we are energetic beings. We are emotional beings. We are energy is emotions are energy in motion. So whatever emotion that you are putting out into the world is the energy that you're putting out into the world, is the energy that you get back. So when you live from that place of high emotion, high energy, the universe meets you there. But you have to take responsibility. How did you do the responsibility bit? Did you say that?
Not yet. I was going to leave it up to you.
This is because it's my favorite thing. I mean, responsibility. I remember saying this for the first time with some of our clients last year, and one of our clients, Mel, was like, she's like, I cannot believe I have never thought about responsibility like that in my life. But responsibility is responsibility, your ability to respond. You are able to respond. You get to take responsibility for your life. Everything that's in your life right now, you get to change it. You are the only person that could change it. And everything starts in the mind's eye first. Everything starts in imagination. Everything that is around us right now was first created in somebody's imagination. Whether it's the chair you're sitting on, the screen that you're looking at, the walls, the table, everything is a product of somebody's imagination. Your life is a product of your imagination. Your life is a product of what you are thinking about, and you get to take responsibility. You are able to respond to the thoughts that you have, and you can accept them or you can reject them. And if they are not healthy thoughts, if they're not conducive to the life that you want to live, you get to say no thank you, and you get to replace them. Now, again, it's very, very simple for me to say these things, but it's taken me years and years and years of studying this material to really understand and to speak so articulately about this stuff. Jamie as well, this is what we've studied, as he said, every day for years. We've both been coaches for me, 15 years, Jamie, probably longer. I've worked in leadership for a lot longer, but not specifically coaching. That's been the last 15 years of my daily life. So we can make it sound so simple, but it's not easy. But this is what we do. And we are so blessed.
And we are blessed because, listen, we feel we've got a gift. And so have every single one of you on this call. You've all got a gift. And your duty to this world is to share your gift with as many people as possible until you take your last breath. That is my purpose on this planet. I wanted to acknowledge some people in the chat. You know, Kirsten's in Norway. So Kirsten said that exercise did bring tears to her eyes, feelings of happiness, imagination bringing familiarity, and it sounds amazing to me. So that you can live from that point right now. The feelings you've got there, you can live with those feelings every single day. Yeah. Lily's also saying thank you for that as well. Big reaction at the end of that practice have brought back the fears, but you just brought her back to the moment and appreciating right now, which helps Lily. Can you imagine Lily being around an environment like this every day of every week, and what can happen to where you take your next steps back onto the big stage? Because we have got your back. We've always said that. And Nikki's also thanking you as well, you know, in terms of the way we look at responsibility, that ability to respond. And that's what we're talking about tonight. We've got the faculties to do that. Mm-hmm. So from last night, can I just acknowledge, I do want to acknowledge those who did their homework, and Lily got hers in at the last minute as well. So well done, Lily.
I will be making a point to look at these, definitely, tonight.
They're incredible. And they're incredible because they are goals that have got complete ownership over those who wrote them. Yes, you can refine them. Yes, you can add more detail, but you're declaring to the universe, this is what you want. And that is the first step. You decide to go for it. So I want to acknowledge, you know, Kirsten was very brave of getting that done first. Nikki was also getting brave of getting it done first. So was Lily, and so was Karen. So every single one of you guys, and Lily, and actually Lily, you've still got a book that's in the post. I don't think I've posted it yet, but we have also got something I'm going to share with you, which is going to be a little journal we're going to send to each and every one of you, which is a gratitude journal where you can get yourself into that place every single day of having daily gratitude. And we've got an exercise to share with you as we go through this. So those gifts are going to be coming to you. So I want to just give a massive shout out to every single one of you, because listen, that takes time and persistence, and it takes mental discipline to do that in a group that's got hundreds of people in there. And you must all understand that that is unique. It's new to you. It's new to other people as well. Mm-hmm. But every single one of you, if you can, in the portal, there is my email address. Please send me, or find my number in WhatsApp group and send me your address, please, so I can send it to you. I've got the gift to send to you. So thank you so much for all doing that, because you're setting goals, but tonight we're going to really start to unravel what it is that's holding you back, whether you call it fear, whether you call it procrastination, whether you call it doubt, whatever it may be. Okay, so congratulations to all of you for doing this, every single one of you. And what I'm also going to send as well for you four as well, I'm going to send you a template for the goal cards that we have with us, that we carry about with us as well. So we're going to send these with you too, so you can really refine your goal, and you can write it on a goal card, and you're going to carry it about with you. You can put it in your top pocket, you can put it in your wallet, you can put it in your purse, you can put it on your computer, put it in your fridge, put it in the back of your phone, somewhere where you know it's going to be there. So every time you think of your goal, you're doing this constant rewiring of your brain. But if you're not flooding your mind with what you want, guess what? Your mind's going to be picking up everything else that's going around you, things that you don't want. So as Nikki was talking about earlier on there, we need to flood our subconscious mind with the feelings of that goal already achieved. That exercise we did, can you imagine doing an exercise like that every single day? And that's why we've got to be really, really precise tonight. Just what we want goes into our mind. That is it. And if we cloud about all these other things and all this noise that's out there, then we're always got to sift through that junk. But when we're committed, when we take responsibility, as we're talking about, this is your life. You are in control of this. And there's no blame. We don't need to be the victim of anything anymore. Because when we take control, we decide about what we think about. We're going to talk about this in a second. We're going to decide on what we focus on. And there's a plaque that I've got on my desk here that Bob Proctor talks about a lot as well. About, if you really think about your external circumstances like right now, what your immediate environment is, there's three parts of this little wooden plaque I've got on my desk. It says, it is what it is. Accept it. It will either control you or you will control it. How true is that? And then number two, it says, harvest the good. Regardless what's going on, there is good in everything. Seek and you will find. You will find whatever it is you're looking for, what evidence you're looking for. Are you looking for evidence to support you and what you're going after? Are you looking for excuses to stay where you're at? What's worse than an excuse? A good excuse. And this is all up to you. And that's why we are so serious of these 5 days, because we really want you to grasp this concept of 100% responsibility. Nobody makes you feel anything. Nobody can make you think anything. You may be used to be being the plaything and people trying to do that, but for things to go on in your mind, for the things that are going on around you, until today, from this moment, right now, you are in control. And then the last part on the back, it says forgive the rest. It says forgive means to let go completely, abandon it, release it, just let it go. Because if it does not serve you, let it go. How many things in your life right now would improve your life by just letting them go? Think about it. So that's what we're thinking about here. All of these things. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go and look at the worksheet. So Nick, I don't know if you want me to go through these questions that we've got.
Yeah.
We've got questions in the worksheets.
Is these the ones where we do the I compare myself to others,
Yes.
Yeah, I'm happy to go through them, although I think I'd be doing them from memory.
Yeah.
That's good.
So I've got them here, so I can even bring them up on screen if that helps.
Yeah. So these are questions that we get to just remind ourselves of. I love that whole story. And I'm going to share with you a teaching that I often share within our NLP sessions that we done on Wednesdays. And did you know that, now I'm a lover of all animals, but monkeys, when they're caught, there's a trap that's set for them. And the trap is that there is a nut in the trap. And what the monkey does is it puts its little hand in to get the nut. And because the nut's now in its hand, it can't pull back. And so it sits with the nut and it won't let go of the nut. And in the end, that is how the monkeys are captured. And isn't that sad? And so the worksheets that we have, well, maybe some of these are your nuts. And maybe when we start to think about what is holding us, what we're holding on to is not serving us, we can decide what it is that we want to let go of. And so the questions that are here are around making sure that you realise that you are in the right place. And you are in the right place if you do compare yourself with others. If you're happy to screen share, Jamie, that'd be fab.
Yeah, good.
You are in the right place if you compare yourself with others. Now, I know I used to live my life in comparison all the time. I was like the biggest green-eyed monster, particularly when I had my kids, actually. That was probably one of my biggest times of really comparison, how the babies were doing, how people could go back to work, not go back to work, afford to go on holiday, all the things, all the stories. So if you have experienced, then that is definitely, then you are in the right place. And do you believe in yourself? Do you believe in yourself? Do you believe that you can set a goal and achieve it? And if you don't have that self-belief yet, you are in the right place. Are you afraid of rejection from others? Some people come to us because they're scared to sell, they're scared to offer, they're scared to put their work out there. You know, and one person that's just jumped into my mind in particular is one of our lovely clients who's an artist, and his work is phenomenal, but his rejection, his tolerance for rejection was really low. And so, you know, these are the stories from childhood that we carry through our life and we hold on to as adults. I have trouble concentrating. Focus, that's another big one a lot of our clients come to, particularly if they've got big goals, big ambitions, or running big businesses, or have big careers. Then sometimes there's so much going on that they're not quite sure where to focus. I don't feel like a great leader. I didn't feel like a great mother for a long time. I didn't feel like a great daughter, a great wife, a great colleague, a great anything. So whatever yours is, then if you feel like that, you are in the right place. I'm afraid of making mistakes. That's a big one, isn't it? How was making mistakes received from the adults in your life when you were growing up? And if you were, you know, but depending on what that response was, you might not be fantastic at realizing that the only way we learn is through mistakes. I put everything off until later. Another one for procrastination. When it just feels like there's too much to do, then the safest thing is just to do nothing. And that's really common. I don't trust my decisions. Well, that's huge. I think we spent a lot of time on that one. So maybe we don't need to go back to there. Most people won't make decisions because they don't know how to, because they don't trust themselves. How many times do you hear, do you think I should wear this dress? Do you think I should wear this outfit? What do you think about this lipstick? You know, trust your own decisions, trust your own self. I have a problem with procrastination. Again, is that to-do list just so monstrous that starting just doesn't feel safe. Do you believe in, I'm worried about the opinions of others. That's a huge thing. We spoke about this in the group, the Brilliant Minds Academy. I can't remember if it was this morning or yesterday morning, but the power of belonging, how our tribal mind is designed to keep us safe, and safe is belonging, keeping us in the cave, keeping us with our tribe. But the modern day world, it's not the saber-tooth tigers that are out there to destroy us. It's judgment of others. Or it's just that not knowing that I don't have to belong here. Because sometimes when we move into places where we're not aligned, the subconscious design to belong takes over and we compromise on who we are to fit in. So it's huge. It's huge, probably one of my favourite subjects. So do you believe in yourself? Are other people's opinions of you so much more important than your own? That's massive. For a long time, I really lived with worrying about what other people would say about me if I did that or if I did that. But yeah. And on a scale of 1 to 10, are you confident? That's a huge one. To really own your level of confidence. And we want you to be confident. We want you to be confident in you, that you are great, that you are good at what you do, and that you're going to get what your offer to the world is out into the world, because the world will benefit as a result. Do you respect yourself? Another one that's massive. What do you say yes to? What do you say no to? Are you living in alignment? Do you say yes because you're just used to saying yes? Are you a people please? Or are you a hurry up driver? I was talking about that tonight. You know, when you say used to being the person that does everything, then you just become the person that does everything. You say yes to everything and you say no to yourself. And do you appreciate your achievements? Do you take time out every day to think about the wonderful things that you've achieved? Or do you spend time thinking of all the things that you didn't do? And do you give your all every day? You know, do you wake up? One of my favourite quotes, Jim Rohn: if you were going where I was going, you would be up at 5 a.m. every day too. Jamie and I are both part of the 5 a.m. club, and we did that individually before we came together in the business. But it's really understanding that when you have a mission that's so bigger than anything else in the world, that everybody else's opinions are, you know, nothing compared to the size of your mission and your desire to live the life the way that you want to live it, then you will wake up and give everything your all every day, because you'll be so excited to do so. So if you answered no or low, you are in the right place.
Fabulous. So, listen, we've all got this in your books. Take the time to really consider these questions. Be brave. Score yourself where you are here. And it may be that you go back and revisit this in a month's time and look at your scores again. You know, do they improve? Are you working on you? Are you doing the practice? Are you doing everything that Nikki was talking about earlier on? You know, talking about the goals. We're going to really delve into something deep in a second as well. So, you know, it's up to you to take that action. Yeah. So for the remainder of tonight, what we're going to really do, we're going to be to introduce you to a concept that can literally change your life. And you've all got this in your workbook here. It's the stick person. And I've got a little Manny here, and I've got a board I'm going to be to draw on as well. And I want you just to look at the simplicity of this. Okay? It's a little drawing. Now, I just think this is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. And you're probably thinking, this boy, he's off his head. What the hell? What is this? Just a couple of circles, a couple of lines. And it's not childish. It might look a bit childish. You might be thinking, this cannot be the thing that can change my life. But this is one of the best concepts that I've ever learned from Bob Proctor. This is understanding what controls that little thing, the little bottom circle called your body. And it has to be the most valuable thing that I've ever learned with this. And we want to teach this to you today. We want to share this with you today. So if you've got your workout printed out, grab this piece of paper. If not, just grab a blank sheet of paper and draw these. And we're going to draw this over and over and over again, because your homework tonight is to do what I'm about to do on my little flip chart, my little board here. So I'm going to draw, and I want you to really watch, but I also want you to really think at the same time. Because as I'm drawing, I want you to really consider what is going on in me. What does this mean for me? And you will learn to love the simplicity of this stick person, and the ease that you can use it can absolutely transform your life. And here's the secret. This is the reason only 3% of people get their goals, of what the relationship is between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind and the body. So, are you ready for this? I'm not doing anything until I see that I've got your attention. Are you ready to do this? Are you ready to learn this? Are you ready to take 100% responsibility from this moment onwards? Because once you learn this, it'll blow your mind. Are you ready to be in charge of your life? No more being the victim. No more allowing other people to control what's going on in you or around the world around you. to decide whether you pass or fail, or you're in control. Who's ready? Say yes or ready. Brilliant, Nikki. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. So let me just remove this stick person. And let me just... me with this. So here's my stick person. As you see, it doesn't need to be perfect. But what we're about to do here is we're going to really start to give you an understanding of what the key components of these are. So here we've got the big circle at the top and the small circle at the bottom. The top circle is the mind. You've got the top part and the bottom part. The top part is the conscious mind. And we're going to really break this down. The bottom part is the subconscious mind. And this here is your body. So the homework after tonight is you're going to take the printout of this blank stick person and you're going to complete it in whatever way you feel you would like to complete it. But I'm going to just make some notes on here tonight. So this is the conscious mind and this is the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is the thinking mind. And it's the thinking mind because we can generate ideas ourselves, or sometimes ideas come from out with us. Now, it could come from these little antennae at the top, or our five senses. So what we see, smell, taste, touch, and hear. And from these five senses, tens of millions of bits of data are coming into our mind every second of every single day. Tens of millions. But the problem is, the subconscious mind only takes a very small part of this. A very small part of this. So if it only takes a small part of this, where does the rest of it go? The rest of it goes into the subconscious mind, which we'll come into in a second. But we have got this thought energy. Energy, just as Nikki talked about earlier on. It just is. And energy comes to and through us at every moment of every single second of the day. And our conscious mind determines what we do with that energy. Because when we generate ideas in our conscious mind, going back to control, you can accept or reject ideas. The conscious mind can accept or reject ideas, which means that you don't need to entertain the negative thinking that happens from a negative thinking bias on a regular basis. You can replace it with more positive, empowering thoughts. So if that's the case, why do we know this? Because in the conscious mind, we have got 6 mental faculties. I'm going to just put the initials of these down the side. We've got P for perception. How me and you perceive the world is different. We see the world through different lenses. And that's a beautiful thing about life. Our perception makes us see the world the way it is. Another one is our intuition. We pick up other people's energy and feelings. Have you ever been at the checkout at the supermarket and you know there's somebody looking at me? You just feel the glare and you turn around and right enough there's somebody looking. You pick up on other people's energy. Your intuition does that. Then we've got I for the imagination. The imagination is the most marvellous, inconceivable, powerful force that the world has ever seen. The imagination, as Nikki said, creates everything. Everything you see, everything you use, everything you wear was first created in the mind and then it was created in reality. Your imagination can do so much for you creating, and you've already created the life you've got. So this is the part we really need to focus on when we're developing and creating our goals. Then we've got our will. Our will is having the ability to hold the picture on the screen of your mind to the exclusion of all other distractions. And the good way to practice your will and focus is by putting a little dot on your wall, or maybe put a little candle and sitting in your favourite chair and just focusing on that one dot or that one candle for up to 5 minutes without any distractions. Because if you can do it with that, then we can do it with keeping that positive picture in your mind. Going back to your point earlier on, Lily, how do I keep the excitement versus the fear? It's by keeping that positive picture on the screen of our mind. And we need to practice the will and the focus and the concentration by doing that. We've also got, R. R is for reason. Reason means that we reason our way out of some of the decisions we're going to make sometimes. How many times have you decided, I'm going to go after that? And what happens? You decide, maybe that's not for me. But maybe I'll fail. But I'll start on Monday. But maybe I'll start when it's warmer, when I've got the money. So we reason our way out of things. And the thing with the reasoning faculty, it's faulty. And then we've got memory. So our memory is in fine working fettle. We pull in memories all the time, usually negative memories. And when we pull in negative memories, it almost convinces us, don't go for that goal. Remember, you failed before. Remember that time you didn't succeed. What about that person you tell you're going after that? Won't they laugh at you? That's where that fear of judgment comes from. So these mental faculties are there to empower you, but sometimes we use them against ourselves. So we think our way out of results instead of thinking into results. So we've got perception and imagination and intuition and will and reason and memory. These are our 6 mental faculties in our conscious mind. Now you might be thinking, wow, this conscious mind, there's so much in there. But do you know that your conscious mind is only responsible for 2 to 4% of all of your results? Let that sink in. Your conscious mind is only responsible for 2 to 4% of the results in your life. So what is going on here? And let's tell you what's going on. It's in here. And the one word we've not used tonight, in our subconscious mind, which is our emotional mind, which is where our feelings are, we've got these things here called paradigms. Paradigms are a multitude of habits that keep you locked into where you are. These limiting beliefs, this poor self-image you've got of yourself, the beliefs around money, the beliefs around success, the beliefs around relationships, the belief around your health, the beliefs around whatever it may be, your paradigms in the subconscious mind are in control, which means that 96 to 98% of your results come from the subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind is programmed between the ages of 0 and 7. Aristotle's quote said, you give me a boy up to the age of 7 and I will show you the man. What does that mean? That whatever happens in our environment up to the ages of 7, at home, at school, in the community, with friends, with family, all this information is going through this. And then at 7 years, 8 years of age, the conscious mind starts to develop and boom, the lid is locked and our condition is there. Now, this is not to say that it's permanent, but we can have an understanding of why we've got so many doubts and worries and fears about everything we want to do in our life. But at the same time, we've got some positive paradigms as well. Our confidence, taking risks, going after what we want to do. We've sometimes got that desire. You've all had success in your life because you've used these faculties in your mind properly and positively to get you everything you want in your life. And when we do that and when we feel, our body vibrates and it gives us every single result in our life. So if you want better results, is it an outside-in job or is it an inside-out job? Because if we've got crap results, crap thinking, crap feelings, crap behaviours, crap results, it's a vicious cycle we're in. Who here is in that vicious cycle? So what we do is we say, well, wait a second here. Let's go inside and let's create the picture of what we really want. Let's get emotionally involved in it, because when we pass it on to the subconscious mind cannot reject. It must accept it. It's completely deductive. When you get emotionally involved, and that's the language of the subconscious mind, and emotion is always is the language of universal intelligence, then what we do is we set ourselves up to vibration. Feeling is our way of articulating the vibrational state we're in, the frequency we're in. And there's lots of frequencies that we've got. And the way we feel makes the way we act, gives us our results. So there's a lot within that stick person. But understand this, the way you think impacts the way you feel, and the way you feel impacts the way you behave, and the way you behave impacts on the way your results are in every single part of your life, your circumstances, your conditions, and your environments. If you want to change these results, we've got to think of where we are right now, because we can take stock, but more importantly, where are we going? And that's the true thing here is, where do you want to go? Because once you understand the power of the mind, and tonight we're discovering the power of the mind, we can do something about changing these paradigms. And I'm going to play the clip of Bob at the end again to really get you to understand how we do that. Now, one way of doing that is by repetition. Okay, repeating the same thing over and over again, as Nikki said earlier on. Another way is an emotional impact. Something significant happens in your life and your whole demeanour and beliefs and attitude towards something changes. I wouldn't wait on something like that happening, because something like that is usually negative. So when you really focus on making change, then tonight, actually going back to your worksheets, you have got QR codes that give you affirmations to really start to repeat. Okay, so we're giving you lots of ways, and that's why we're saying take this, that you've got enough material here to last you a lifetime. Okay, we're giving you so much for you to change. But here's the thing. Why do 97% of people not change when they get the same material? Because we've all got the same instruction book, we've all got the same manual, we've got the same recipe. Why don't we change? Because we need guidance. We need accountability. We need an environment. We need people who've got our back. We need a safe space to speak about the things we want to speak about, another place. But don't act. You're absolutely right. So tonight, you will act. Tonight, you've got to take this stick person, print it out or draw it yourself, take a photograph and stick it into the Facebook group. Okay, the homework is asking you to do this. And why should you do that? Explain to the people as well. Once you've taken a photograph, you post it, let us know what you've learned from this session tonight. What's been your key takeaways? What's been your aha moments? And again, everyone who completes this exercise tonight is going to be put into that prize draw. And now I want to just make reference again as well in the worksheets. There's other questions in here as well. Once you've got an understanding of paradigms, these limiting beliefs, these patterns that hold us back, it's asking you in here, what are your strongest patterns? How much has your paradigm cost you so far? Specify the amount. Holding you back from going after your dreams, going after what you really want. Write down 5 things you know you should do to achieve your goal, but you don't do them. Write down 5 most destructive beliefs you have about your goal and yourself. And then it asks, choose one habit, one belief from the list above, and write down the formula for a paradigm shift. So these QR codes, we're giving you affirmations, we're giving you the self-confidence formula, which again is another wonderful, wonderful article from Think and Grow Rich. You're getting this all. And if you do the homework tonight, enter a prize draw for tomorrow night, and we will give more things away to help you towards the life that you truly, truly deserve. Okay, now there's been a long session tonight. There's been a lot of information tonight, but we said, and I said it last night, we're going to give you everything this week, and there's so much more to come, because we're privileged to be around the best in the business. And we'll always be around the best in the business, which means that you're around the best in the business. But you've got a choice tonight, what you do next. So, who here is going to do the homework? Who's committing? Type homework in the chat if you're going to do the homework. Make a commitment. Be brave. Any final thoughts, Nikki?
Amazing. Really, really amazing. Yeah, I think just really around making decisions and doing it and accepting that, one of the biggest problems we have as humans is hesitation. Is that but. I love how you just describe it as so simply as but. I think that's one of the things that we do really well is we take these really complex concepts and we turn them into something fun and easy to understand. But yeah, so that yeah, well done. I just really enjoyed that. Enjoyed listening to that. But it is about really starting to understand the power of hesitation. And it's in those moments of hesitation that people let go of their goals. Because in that, but as soon as that subconscious mind of the safety, familiarity, we stay with, this is what we do, we panic, we do whatever we do, then we just don't move ourselves forward for our goals at all. So there is one thing, though, that humans don't hesitate on. And we're going to talk about that tomorrow. So I think you need to come back for that tomorrow.
So yeah, just to clarify then, what we're going to be doing tonight, okay? With the stick person, and you can watch this back on replay, so Lily's asking the question, that's okay, is take this stick person and inside your conscious mind, what are your dominating thoughts that you think you have? It could be around your goal, it could be around each day, it could be around your success. And then in the subconscious mind, I want you to really think about the feelings that you carry with you most of the time. And what are your paradigms saying? What kind of paradigms have you got? So for example, I'm going to tell you mine. My thoughts were always, I'm going to be successful. I want more money. I want more. I want just more. But my subconscious mind was telling me, but you're not good enough. You're an imposter. People are definitely better than you. And you'll get ridiculed. Your friends and family and colleagues don't believe in you. They can't wait for you to fail. So these were limiting beliefs that I had that were stopping me from being there. So what about you? And then the actions and behaviours down here, you could put something down here about exactly what this is. So you might put results. You might go back and think about the different perceptions we've got. You might be graphical. There's people who've used AI to make this really, really intelligent, really, really creative. But take ownership on this. There's no right or wrong, good or bad. There's no judgment on what you're doing here. Just really take this, and whatever resonated with you from what I described, place it on here. You might make 2 of these. You might make 5 of these. It might be in so many different ways, but it's yours. Okay, so thank you for that. And Kirsten, thank you. Because as a teacher, I've heard a lot about the absorbent mind in children aged 0 to 6. And it's a great way to think about this concept. Can you imagine if children understood this from a young age? What we can do with this? It's a difficult task. It's a challenging task. You know why? Because it's about you. We can talk about theory all day. We can talk about things in the books. But when it comes to us, this is when it hurts. And that's why I'm going to just scroll back up here again. When I said who's committed to the homework, type homework. 2 of you put homework in. Why? Because you've said you're going to take responsibility tonight. You're saying, yes, is it? I'm drawing a line in the sand. But as soon as I say make a commitment, you go, oh, my keyboard's not working. Or, sorry, Jamie, I never heard you. And we start to make excuses. Yeah, your subconscious mind is talking you out of being accountable for doing the thing you really need to do. This is how our mind works. You know what you're meant to do on a conscious level, but you do something different. That's called the know and doing gap. When we talk about that in our academy, and the gap is your habits. Your gap is your limiting beliefs. The gap is the but. So do the do. And that's us for tonight, folks. We'll be back tomorrow. Plenty to go. Watch us back on replay, and ask any questions. We're here to help. Okay, we're here to help. So I think I'll bring Bob on just to finish with, because I think he's still there. Yes, he is. So here's Bob. We'll see you back here tomorrow night. Well done. See you later.
Paradigm is in control of you. Don't think it's not. It is. It is in control of you. It's a demon inside of you. And it talks to you. And it tells you, don't do that. You crazy. Go ahead, do it. Don't do it. It's in control. And you know something? 97% of the time, the damn thing wins. It does. And I don't care how sophisticated you are. I don't care how smart you are. I don't care how religious you are. I don't care about any of those things. Your paradigm is in control. It's been programmed right into the cells in your being. Stop and think of how you got here. Little particle of energy from mom, little particle of energy from dad comes swimming along. They were in resonance, and that is the nucleus of you. And then for 280 days, an attractive force went to work. And all of mom's DNA and all dad's DNA, where'd their DNA come from? Well, their mother and their dad, where did they go from their mothers and their dads? God knows how far back this goes. You're the product of other people. You're the confluence of thinking that goes back for God knows how far. That's who you are. That's why you look like you do. That's why you've got the hair you've got. That's why you're the height you are, the weight you are. That's why your foot is wide or narrow. This is all programmed into us. Then 280 days later, we make our debut on the planet. And we become programmed by the people we're surrounded by. This is real, and you're not going to get it in school because the teachers don't know it. Look at it. This is really a black or white deal. It doesn't matter how hard you work. It doesn't matter how many hours you put in. If the paradigm doesn't change, ultimately results remain the same from one year to the next. That's why people go right through their life living much the same as their parents and their grandparents and their great-grandparents. Nothing changes. Just as prejudiced, bigoted, and ignorant from one generation to the next. You must alter the paradigm if you desire to improve your results. Both companies and individuals operate with paradigms. Countries operate with paradigms. Families have paradigms. To be able to shape your future, though, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.